I used to think that investing was hard, boring, or complicated, but I found the perfect stock investing course that showed me how to invest as a complete newbie. Now I can build wealth in the stock market and do all the things that I enjoy at the same time. Check out the Lazy Investor Stock course and get started on your wealth building journey today.
So what's going on, everybody? This is David W. Williams, also known as Diamond Dave, right? So what we're going to talk about today is the real economic cost of being single and sick. The goal of this video is for you to leave this video and be able to make better choices about your life, and for you to start to see through some of the bad narratives, some of the bad education, and a lot of the bad marketing that you've been taught about relationships and how they're going to impact you in the future. And so my goal is to make sure that when you leave this video, you have a resource based on real life situations, not based on just me being an expert or me just having all the sense in the world. And I'm going to show you real life situations. And the goal is to make it to where you now can make better decisions about your life, about your relationships, and also about your future. That's the goal of what we're doing today. To all my mods, we got about a 15-minute window before people that's not normally down with the program start coming in. These are going to be the rules of engagement, right? Because we know how people get sometimes on these type of topics. Give them a warning if they get, they start just distracting everybody from what we're talking about with the topic. Give them a little timeout warning. After that, get them up out of here, right? Spend a lot of time putting this content together. This is a serious topic. It's something I'm very serious about. I'm very emotional about this topic. And what I'm going to try to do is I really ask for composure from myself to where I don't spin off, because that's not really what I'm about. And I don't want to get anybody to get the wrong impression. We getting ready to go into the holidays. It's supposed to be about peace and love and family and all that, right? But this is a serious topic because there's a spirit out here in the world that I know where it's coming from. I know what the source of it is, but a lot of people are caught in it. Even people that claim that they're believers. And I know how that can happen because I've been caught up in stuff myself and still trying to work my way through situations. And it's going to hurt a lot of people at the end of this game. Right? And a lot of people can only benefit from certain situations. So they're not going to do anything different because the only way they can eat is to continue to deceive the public, to continue to lie to the public, yada, yada, yada. So really quickly, we're going to talk about the sponsor of the show because we're going to get that out of the way. We're going to get into the content. We got a lot of stuff we got to go through today, right? And we also going to let people come in and get a look, put they spin on the situation if they got a point of view, right? So we got a lot we got to get through. The sponsor of the show is the highest paid part-time job in the world, Option Training Academy, right? The best option training academy in the world. We have been able to produce multiple success stories over the past 4 to 5 years. It's true to life. It's not just something on the internet. We actually do this in real life. We trade in real life. We have real success stories in real life. We've been able to positively impact people's lives. And one of the ways in which we've been able to do it, if we focus more on the education, we focus more on the curriculum, we focus more on the community and the consistency than just trying to figure out how we was going to criticize people and trying to worry about protecting our audience from other people. Right? So what we haven't done is creating a lot of negative commentary about other channels, yada, yada, yada. We really don't care, right? Because we know that the way in which we coming in the game, certain people going to be attracted to us and certain people not. And a lot of people find out real quick when they come over here and try to get stupid, they just don't make it, right? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to shoot that video out and we're going to get right back to the content. We want to go ahead and do it because we got a lot of stuff we got to get through. The highest paid online is having a special Black Friday sale. This Black Friday sale will give you 40% off on any of the 3 option trading courses on our site. Use the code NOV40 to access the 40% off sale. This sale will end on November 30th. If you ever thought about moving forward with any of our options training, this is going to be the best opportunity that you've seen all year. See you on the inside. Okay, so we talking about the economic cost of being single and sick, right? So really quickly, I'm going to show you this video of this particular athlete who was single, got sick, and is currently deceased. Because the problem a lot of people have is their attitude is that because something has not happened to them yet, it won't happen. That's called myopia. So their attitude is I'm going to duck the bullet, I'm going to dodge the bullet, for the rest of my life. Life don't work that way. But people think it works that way. But life don't work that way. Right? So the lie of this world is that one day you're not going to get sick. Well, how do most people leave the planet? They get sick. Very few people are fortunate enough to just expire at 99 years old. Most people, the way this, especially the American system works, and I can tell by a lot of people by the way they look, because they already starting to approach that. Last 10 to 15 years, maybe 20 years of their life, they spend running back and forth to the doctor. But America teaches people and conditions people, because you're young and it ain't happened to you yet, it's not going to happen to you. Because what America does is it focuses all its attention on people that's like 35 years and younger, but really 20, 30 and younger. It makes them think, well, because of the situation that you're in now, it's going to always be like that. That's not how this world works. But it's built to keep you kind of stuck on that hamster wheel. Then we got the people that's constantly telling you relationships are negative and relationships are the hardest thing in the world, yada, yada, yada. And I'm here to tell you, when you going through something, after you buy into that ideology, you isolate yourself. Then when you go through something, you can't find any of those people to help you out. Because their job is just to create content around it. They really don't believe in this stuff that they saying. They like an actor or an actress on the television. They playing a role. Denzel Washington never was in Rome in his life. He's not young enough. I'm sorry, he's not old enough. Denzel Washington didn't live in Rome during that time period. He's playing a role. A lot of y'all are buying into roles people are playing, and they really, really good at it. And you thinking this stuff is really like what they really believe in. No, they don't. They just playing a role. And I'm gonna have to, I could go a lot deeper into it because I used to come out of direct response marketing. But people don't want to hear that because you go broke telling people the truth in this world. So we're going to get to the video, and I'm going to show you an example of somebody that was sick, single, and they deceased now, because I want you to understand this attitude to where you got to necessarily be at the end of your life to have this happen to you. That's normally how it's going to happen to most people, but that's not necessarily always the case. And I'm going to show you how to get away from that issue. The media is trying to twist the story because their goal is to push a story, but especially in regards to Black women. That's their assignment, because I know who they work for. So even though this woman fell victim to a situation, they try to twist the story. We're going to get a little bit deeper into it too, because they needed to be what they wanted to be, because their job is to promote a narrative to Black women. Because why? There's a goal that they have for everybody. And if you participate in it, you can get making yourself a lot of money, right? So we're going to go ahead and get into that video, and then we're going to keep going.
The cause of death for Olympian and Mississippi native Tori Bowie has been revealed. Bowie died due to complications from childbirth. She was 8 months pregnant and was in labor at the time of her death. According to the autopsy, she may have suffered from eclampsia, which are seizures that occur due to a sudden spike in blood pressure.
Okay, so the question you want to ask yourself is, who profits from you being alone, right? If you by yourself, who profits? Right? If you're by yourself, if you're all by yourself in this world, who benefits from it financially? Because then you can understand the people that have the incentive of you being by yourself, right? So if you're by yourself, you're a single person in this world, who has a financial interest in you being in that particular situation, right? Next question you want to ask yourself is, how long do you benefit from being by yourself? You got all these YouTube channels, people talking about I'm being by myself, I'm living my best life, yada, yada, yada. How long do you benefit from it? Because nothing lasts forever, right? In the natural world. So how long do you benefit? Have you ever thought about that? Or are you just enjoying life right now? It's just YOLO. So what you have in this world, and we learn this in marketing, is once you identify that your segment, your market segment has a neurosis, you feed their neurosis. See, so what we do is we try to figure out what is the neurosis of the audience, and then we just feed into it. So if the neurosis of the audience is they have issues forming relationships, they have trauma, they have things of this nature that doesn't allow them, they have antisocial behavior that doesn't allow them to form proper relationships, which a lot of times is being caused by the same people that's treating it to you. Once we realize we have them now in that condition, now what we do, what they teach you in marketing, when you get behind the closed doors, they teach you to feed into that neurosis. Feed it. It can be very profitable. Right? Then if you get really good at it, the world promotes you, you become very, very successful. Right? Now you have more of a financial incentive to do it because this is how you made all your money. So you got people on social media, they made all their money by telling people not to be together, by coming up with every reason why people should be single. So if they stop doing that, they got to go back to making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year. They're not going to do that. Because they YouTube bringing in 200,000, they selling courses, that's bringing in millions. They doing this over here. So they got all these revenue streams based on this particular narrative. So they never going to quit because they're not going to go back to making $60,000, $70,000 a year. That's not going to happen. They can't support their lifestyle like that. So that's what I want you to understand. Who profits from you being alone financially? And if you can't identify that, I would encourage you to watch the videos on this particular channel because I can show you how to identify revenue streams. A lot of people think they can, they can't. Because it's not something they got to do for their job. Average person can't read a balance sheet. Average person, you gave them a balance sheet right now and tell them to read it. They couldn't tell you where it's at. But they understand so much. That's why when the people get on and talking about, well, you know, Soros is financing, yada, yada, yada. I don't want to hear that because you can't read a balance sheet. Like, stop talking to me about this type of stuff. Right? You can go to your community college right now, take an accounting class and learn how to read balance sheets. It's not that difficult. So the average person doesn't even understand what real business some of these people are in. If you're by yourself, who gets a financial benefit from you being by yourself? Who does that benefit? And I'm going to show you how you have business models that are being built around people not having any type of family support. Next question. How long do you benefit from being by yourself? Right? What's the runway of you being by yourself when you benefited from the situation? When does that stop? Once the jokes and he and all that's over and you got to deal with the real life situation like Ms. Bo had to deal with, we're going to get into that later. Right? Because when you're dealing with that, the he and all that, the people not going to be there. Because it ain't no fun no more. So they're going to go do something else. So what I'm trying to do is get you an understanding to realize a lot of the stuff that you bought into when it goes south, these people that you think you cool with, they're not going to show up for you. They're going to find something else to do. Because a lot of this is people lying to each other just to keep this game going. Everybody acting like they got something going on that they really don't. Instead of coming together and working together and trying to build something, it's benefits keeping people antagonized with each other. That's how they make their money. I'm going to show you the example of what I'm talking about, right? So this came up this morning. You know what I'm saying? I was doing some reading. So Andrew Tate's online university got hacked early this morning, right? Not early this morning on 21st, my bad. I read it this morning, right? He got a little community, right? Got 113 active users, 113,000 active users. If accurate, that site would generate 5 million or 5.6 million a month. So multiply that by 12 to let you know how much money he's making. They got 794,000 usernames off the site, right? If all them 794 paid him $50 at least one time, ask yourself how much money this dude has made. Now, I'm going to say this, and, you know, everybody not going to agree with it. They're going to say, Dave, man, you saved while you're talking like that. But I got to speak the real. Andrew Tate is a hoe napper. See, a lot of y'all ain't been around nothing. Everything been social media, yada. You don't really know what Andrew Tate is a hoe napper. So we live in a world where they promote a hoe napper to the highest level. He get the biggest platforms. He get to get on these platforms of people and be taken serious. Don't nobody never challenge what he got to say because he can generate an audience around what he doing. So people quick to partner with him, even though they telling you that they got some type of conservative image, yada, yada, yada. This dude is a hoe napper, right? That's a violation of the game. But instead of people shunning this dude and getting him on the platform and coming at odds with him and correcting his behavior, they put him up there as if he the best example of doing things the right way, which build his audience even more. So this man made his money as a hoe napper. He now making 5 million a month. And his whole message is to teach young dudes that there's something wrong with women. Right? That because they looking at him and saying, well, if that's how he did it and he up, that's what I need to do. If that's his attitude amongst women, That's what I need to do. Then you got people playing the other side, hoping they can be the female version of Andrew Tate. This is real life. Right? So this man generating 5.6 million a month with a message that's designed to destroy people's relationships, to make young dudes feel like you don't need to be in a relationship with women. Now you got to ask yourself, what's the real motivation of that? Who's the originator of that message to try to split man and woman apart? Who's the originator of that message? So when you understand that, then you really know who they people really work for. Right? So when people got all these prophecies and all this and America gonna fall, and I told you the same thing again. This message to destroy men, these negative messages that they get about men, and this attitude to where people don't need to be together, that's what's gonna destroy America. All the rest of the stuff don't mean nothing, because that's not the problem. These minority groups that they trying to pick out and say that's the reason. No, that's not the problem. Because no minority group is bigger than Andrew Tate. So Andrew Tate presents himself as a heterosexual man. He's doing more damage to young people and men than any of these minority groups that they telling you is the enemy. Why? Because he got the biggest audience. But you can't say that. So that's why I don't fall for these games these people try to play, dog. Right? And they promoted this man to this level. He didn't get there by himself. He was promoted to this level. He's been platformed. He's been given a stage to espouse this type of stuff and make more and more and more and more and more and more money. And what is his message? That women have no value, that men shouldn't respect women, that men should only seek to be predatory towards women and try to destroy women's lives, and that's what make you an acceptable person. And now his job is to indoctrinate a bunch of dudes into that. Because if you hang around people like that long enough that think that type of stuff, that's how you gonna think. Right? So that's what I want you to understand. Now, he's an extreme degree. You got people doing the same thing. They just put whatever kind of little face and kind of spin on it, but they doing the same thing. Their whole message is to bring everybody to get apart. And that's the only way they make money. They don't make money having people come together, because here's the question. If you are in a relationship and you actually got something going for yourself, when do you have time to pay attention to these folks? So they know that, so they don't have an incentive to bring people together. That's what I kept asking you. Who profits from you being by yourself? So you got whole business verticals now where the only way they can really extract money from you to come to them is for you to be by yourself. Once you get married, I know a bunch of married people. They don't know who none of these people are. I know a bunch of married black folks. No, they had no idea who Kevin Samuels was. They had no idea, because they don't spend their time listening to that type of stuff. They married. They don't even know who these people are. Right? Why would they spend their time listening to that? They're married. They've been married 10, 15, 20 years. Why are they going to listen to that? Right? They may watch the game and that'll be, but they're not going to listen to that. So you got to realize that a lot of these people, they message only works if you by yourself. Once you got somebody and you had that person to influence you and you willing to listen to what that person got to say, you'll find no value in this person anymore. But these people's job is to make sure they keep their hooks in you so you never get nobody. They're going to find everything wrong with you being in a relationship. And that's how they benefit. So you got to really ask yourself, who do these people really work for? And at the end of this, what you going to have to show for it? See? Because Andrew Tate ain't working for his reward nowhere else. He's trying to get all his reward on earth. He'll let you know that's what he's working for. Right? So if you following his lead, what you working for? Okay? So that's what I want you to understand. This is an example of somebody that does that, and that is bigger than big. Okay? Let's keep going. What does it cost you to be sick and single? A lot of people talk about, yeah, you know, I'm this age, ain't nothing ever happened. I've been sick, y'all. I've been single, ain't nothing happened yet, yada, yada, yada. You keep living, see what happened. I used to work in healthcare. I worked in healthcare for almost a decade. I know how this thing rolls out. You keep living and see what happened. Right? The flaw with a lot of human beings is they think because something does not happen, it means it can't happen. Just because you ain't never got into a car accident don't mean you can't get into one. That's why you wear your seatbelt. You don't wear your seatbelt because you never got into a car accident. Right? That's not how it works. So what the world is supposed to do is to get you to believe, well, because it ain't happened yet, it's not going to happen. Okay. I know better. That's why these insurance companies got so much money. Most people think about sick. They think about, you know, getting a cold or something of that nature because that's their experience with sickness because they haven't had a real issue yet. They haven't had a real illness. But there is a segment of the population that's dealing with real illnesses, right? And so what I'm going to show you is that here's some of the decisions that a segment of that population that is dealing with real illnesses has to deal with, because why? They're by themselves and they're also economically challenged. Let's go ahead and go to that.
Choosing death over homelessness. That's what one St. Catharines man is contemplating. Tonight on City News, we continue to delve into medically assisted dying and how some believe it is their only option to living in poverty.
Are you afraid to die?
Who isn't? Yeah,
Amir Farsood has applied for medically assisted dying, known as MAID. He lives in constant agony due to a back injury, but has started the process for end of life because his rooming house is up for sale and he can't find anywhere else to live that he can afford. He barely survives on Ontario disability support payments, which are just over $1,200 a month. He doesn't want to die, but being homeless is not an option.
I know in my present health condition, I wouldn't survive it anyway.
Farsood meets the criteria for MAID: physical suffering due to disability that cannot be relieved. His doctor, who knows Farsood's real reason for MAID is his fear of being homeless, signed off on the application in August. Farsood needs a second to do the same.
Okay, so we talked about this before in another video, how in Canada, people are getting medical assisted death. And this guy's picking this because of his economic condition. So he's a single person, he's by himself. We don't know what his life was before he got sick. People just assuming that, right? They don't know what that man's life was. He could have been making all kind of money and just got sick and no longer had the ability to do that anymore. And without any kind of family support system, partner help, he got to deal with the situation, right? So again, people don't think about this type of stuff till it's in their face. And then they realize that all these people I listened to all these years, I'm going to be this eternal bachelor, right? I'm going to do it by myself. I'm going to be the, I'm going to just fly all over the world and have sex with all these random people the rest of my life. When those people that are telling you that, these people don't care about you long term. You're just somebody they're trying to get money off of. So they're going to tell you whatever falsehood they need to tell you to get you to buy into it. I don't care what their presentation is, right? It's just different degrees of the same message in all different type of spaces. That's part marketing, right? You have essentially the same message, but you hit different market segments with the same message. It's the same message. It's about separation. It's about splitting people together. It's about getting people to believe that if a person not perfect, they don't have no reason to be with you. So you stick next to me because I'm the only person that got some sense and everybody else ain't got no sense. Let me explain something to you, man, before we go ahead and get into it, right? One of the tricks that somebody uses when they're grooming somebody, right, to I don't know if I can use this word on YouTube, right? When they're grooming somebody to essay them to the word M that ends with a T. One of the ways in which they do it is they get them to believe that the only people that get it is me and you, and nobody else gets it, right? And we're special and everybody else is messed up. So you got to be real careful when people start telling you everybody else in the world is flawed. I'm the best representation of doing it the right way. And anybody else that you want to deal with is messed up. Right? This is why I don't like go after other trading channels. People that got other trade. I don't care what they do. Right? I do what I do. Half these people out here talking about trading, they're lying to you. They can't trade to save their life. They just good at selling stuff. But I don't spend my time doing that because I know what that really comes from, right? So I'm always wary of people that say, hey, you know what? In the relationship space, I'm a man. Every other man is bad except me in my situation. And I got a million women around me. Right? Like you got to see that for what it is. Right? Or I'm a woman, I'm in a relationship, but I'm telling women any other relationship is negative. But I'm in a relationship behind closed doors. I just ain't letting the women know that. Right? Or I'm a man and I'm dealing with women, but I'm telling a bunch of men that every woman is bad, so they should never deal with women. The one black dude that got he married a white single mother, right? Who's very, I would say, average looking. And he built his whole career on telling young men that they should marry single mothers, but that's what he married though. Right? So everything's wrong with women except the one he married. Like, people got to realize what's going on. And so what I want them to understand is that these people, they only goal is just to figure out how to make some money. Doing whatever lie they got to tell to get it, whatever thing they got to keep going to get it. Because again, if I'm pulling $250,000 plus off the YouTube and working a 9 to 5, I only made $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 at the peak of my career, I don't never want to go back to that. So whatever I got to say on this YouTube, I'm going to say it. Right? Because I'm not going back to making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. I'm getting $250,000 plus. Them dudes down in Miami, right? They never made that kind of money doing anything else in their life. They don't care what they got to put on the camera to keep that thing going. They're going to do it. Right? Because they've never made that kind of money doing anything else. And they know they can't make that kind of money doing anything else. So they're going to keep it going. Right? Because they live in the trick lifestyle. They don't want to stop doing that. They like tricking at the level that they're tricking at. You think they want to stop doing that? So they don't care how many young men they give a bad message to. They never going to stop. And so that's what I want people to realize. Nobody tells these stories of people in these situations because this ain't how you make money on the internet. Right? Because we're not telling that story to mock this person and to make them seem bad and to make them seem messed up. We trying to get you to understand this real life. Right? These things happen to folks. So this man down here in Canada, they letting people know, hey, man, if you're going through something, you got a medical condition, we can euthanize you and it's whatever. You're single with a serious illness. How do you navigate the healthcare system by yourself? Have you ever asked that question? Right? So just because it hasn't happened now, do you have a plan to do it? Because, you don't need nobody. Got people like, I don't need a partner. I don't need to be with somebody to help me. I don't need it. I got everything I need and I got it. Okay, cool. So you get a serious illness. How do you navigate that healthcare system by yourself? Because, you don't need nobody because you letting what these people tell you. They telling you everything wrong with a relationship. Okay, cool. So do you have a plan for this scenario? Right? Or you just taking it day by day? But the person that's telling you that either they made money off of or their goal is to make so much money off of it that they can take care of themselves in that situation. You're not in that situation. Right? You jumping on YouTube and you letting them justify your failure in these particular issues. Right? Because they telling you how this is the worst thing in the world. Let's keep going. What is the economic impact of you being out of work and you the sole support? So you all by yourself, right? You take care of yourself. You get a serious illness. What's that economic impact? You ever asked yourself that question? So you take care of yourself. Everything is being provided by you. You got to keep making the money. You get a serious illness. What's that economic impact? The average American can't miss 2 weeks of work. Why can't they? Because the average American don't have $1,000 they can go touch. You got to be a damn fool to let somebody tell you that relationships are bad. At least y'all come together. Y'all got 2,000 y'all could touch. Right? The average person can barely go touch $1,000 cash money. Right? The average person in America cannot miss 2 weeks of work. They can't miss it. You see what I'm saying? So again, I keep telling you the economic reality is real. The economic data is real. The rest of this stuff is just noise. So that's the reason why they won't come with no economic data. Right? That's the reason why I done had it standing off on this channel for 3 or 4 years. All you got to do is bring some information and we'll talk about it and nobody won't take it. Because they're not going to get embarrassed in front of their audience, even though I'm not going to try to embarrass them. I'm just going to say, let's put the information up. All we got to do is put the information up front. And let's go through the information. I ain't going to do that. I get paid just to talk. I'm talking about these people. They just get paid to talk and sound good. Andrew Tate just realized if people like what I say, they'll buy stuff from me. It don't have to make no sense. So let me just figure out how to appeal to these people. What I'm saying don't have to make any sense at all. Right? But the average American cannot miss 2 weeks of work. The average American, any severe illness will be very detrimental to them as a person. The average American can't even go touch $1,000. But you can make yourself rich on the internet telling people they don't need to come together. This whole world is backwards. And you got to understand who's the father of this type of message. You got to really understand that. And it's different variants, it's different degrees to it, but it's the same message. It's designed to serve the same person. I don't care how they put it out there. I look at what the core message is and what is it designed to do, right? What's the core message? What is it designed to do? But when a person ends up in these situations, them people that they're dealing with, they will have no information for you. None. They might shoot you a little something, and that's going to be the end of that. They're going to keep moving down the road because the goal is to strip mine you and to keep going. You got to understand what a strip mine process is. When you strip mine, you don't hang around after that. You keep going. When you got doctor's appointments, pharmacy visits, specialist visits, you sick the whole time. So you got to go through all these visits and you sick, right? You got to navigate that. How do you work full time and be sick and manage all these affairs? So you single, you got to work full time because why? You can't miss 2 weeks of work and you don't have $1,000 you can go touch. How do you work full time, be sick and manage all these affairs? I've seen it ruin people. I know a dude right now, a big time trader on Twitter. I follow him. He talk about his dad getting sick. Literally the whole family had to stop to deal with his father's illness. Right? And his father married. The whole family had to stop everything to deal with his father's illness. He's married with children. He got a sister married with children. His father's married with 2 kids, him and his sister. And his father got so sick, everybody had to stop and marshal around the situation to help his father out. Then they got to figure out the money situation because insurance ain't covering everything. But you going to get real sick. You got to hit all these appointments up. And you going to work and manage all these affairs. How you going to do that? And the average American can't go touch 1,000. But they'll argue with you in the comments and you can't go touch 1,000. Why you argue with me? I'm trying to help you get some paper. And you mad at me because I'm not telling you what you want to hear. Right? So this is what I want you to understand. The data is the economic data is the economic data. But the world of escapism, word of I just need somebody to boost me up and make me think it's this and this. And these people do not believe what they're telling you. I tell you, I keep telling you, I come from direct response marketing. I know how this game works. I've been around some of the best. I knew who Frank Kern was. And he is the father of these dudes you see on YouTube right now. He's the father of their style. I know who the father of his style is. Y'all don't know the lineage of these people. Right? Their job is just to get money out of folks. I know about market segmentation. I know about customer avatars. I know how this stuff works. Y'all so busy worrying about who's scamming you. You don't realize a person that's telling you to be by yourself and you can't go touch 1,000. That's the biggest scammer in the world. You don't realize that. And you making that person rich and you can't go touch 1,000 and they don't have a program to help you learn how to go touch 1,000. And you just so happy that I can show up on YouTube or show up and this person going to tell me what I want to hear. So Andrew Tate got a bunch of idiots to pay him $50 a month so he can tell them what they want to hear. And he getting rich and they getting broke. Right? But he a hoe napper, so I wouldn't put none under him. It's a whole lot of stuff he done did and came out now. Because when you down to kidnap hoes, you'll do anything. Right? Ain't no choosing going on. He's straight kidnapping the girl. He must be from Oakland. Let's keep going. You are sick and you're not 100%. How do you make sure you don't miss things in your care because you don't have a backup set of ears and a brain? So you sick, you're not feeling well, you going through stuff, but you still got to hit up these appointments, but you by yourself because you know you don't need nobody, right? You don't need this. You got everything on your own. Cool. Let's keep going with it then. So you dealing with these folks. How do you make sure you don't miss things? Because I've seen people go to doctors and not understand what's going on, and they just get shuffled in and out. That's one of the biggest complaints people have in the medical space. Doctor don't explain nothing to you. They just, because why? The doctor got to see 30 people a day to keep his money coming in. So the less time he can spend with you, the more time he got to go do something else. Right? So you just get shuffled in and out. But you sick now. You're not even 100% healthy. So how do you make sure you don't miss things? You don't have a backup set of ears and a brain because you by yourself, right? So them little people that you calling your friends and, you know, the little girl power incorporated and your guys, they going to come with you. They got to work. let me give you an example. I'm gonna talk about myself. Now I'm giving you scenes of the movie. You don't know the whole movie. So don't get the game twisted. My uncle was in the hospital. I went to go see my uncle. So we in the room. The people came in the room to talk to my uncle about what he was going through with his medical care. That's my uncle. You know, I had to leave the room. You want to know why? Because I'm not next to kin. That's a HIPAA violation. So I can't even hear what they're talking about with my uncle. Why? Because that's a HIPAA violation. I can't even be in there. So even if you got your little friend with you, you know what? They can't hear what the people talking about. That person got to be your next to kin. Maybe if they got power of attorney over you, but you ain't had time to do all that paper because, like I say, you ain't thinking you're going to get sick because, you know, you ain't got sick yet. Right? So you ain't got no type of structure set up to where somebody else that's not your next to kin can get information around your medical situation, and they can consult with you on it. A lot of y'all ain't even got a living will. You don't have a care directive if something happened to you. So if something happened to you, them people just gonna do what they want to do. You know what they're gonna do? I'm gonna give you a secret. If you get in a real bad accident and you don't have next of kin, let me tell you what they're gonna do. I'm gonna give you a secret. You ready for the secret? They're gonna look at what your insurance will cover. And based on what your insurance will cover, that's what they're gonna do for you. And anything past that, they're not gonna do it. You talking to somebody that worked in healthcare for over almost a decade. They're going to look at your insurance policy, your healthcare policy. What's your coverage limit? That's what they're going to do for you. And anything past that, it's not going to happen because why? You ain't got nobody to advocate for that. So they're going to go to that wall of what they're going to get covered for. And after that, that's going to be it. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? That's what they're going to do for you. They're going to do to the wall of what they're going to get paid for. After that, you're on your own. And you don't have anybody to advocate for you. Right? Because you could be my best friend. I can't go in there and tell them people, y'all need to do 1, 2, 3, because I don't even know what they're doing because they don't have to tell me because why? That's a HIPAA violation. See, this is the real side of life. This ain't this internet stuff. I seen it. Right? I worked in oncology for almost 4 or 5 years. I seen all kind of stuff. And the people that a lot of times that had the best situation, whether they lived or died, was the people that had a support system. Right? I feel bad for somebody that had to go through that. And I pray to God, I don't ever have to go through that and you all by yourself. And I've seen people have to go through that and be all by themselves. It's rough. That's a lot to have to deal with, especially if you're not doing well with the treatment, because you still got to keep going back and forth, even though you're not doing well. Okay, let's keep going. It's not the job of the home health aide to make sure you understand the scope of your care. You'll be on your own, right? So you got a home health aide. Take care of you, whatever. That ain't their job to understand the scope of your care. Their job is to drive you back and forth, to take you shopping, right? To make sure that, you know, you don't fall inside your house. That's their job. It's not their job to understand the scope of your care. You on your own. They getting paid by the hour, right? Can they develop a relationship with you and care for you? Yeah, but it's not their job to understand the scope of your care. And they oftentimes don't have the training for that. Right? Then they can be switched in and out based on what service you're using. So you may get one person that's real good. You may get another person that ain't no good. It's a crapshoot. But that's not their job to understand the scope of your care. You're going to be on your own. See, these are real life situations that nobody, because, you know, you can't make money on YouTube talking about this. Because I've realized that on the internet, for the most part, it's a segment of the population that really not that productive. We just gonna keep it all the way funky, right? I'll be on Twitter. It's a so anything dealing with productivity and trying to benefit yourself and move your life forward, they don't want to hear it. They just want to sit back and just be mad all the time. So that type of stuff work on them so you can monetize that audience, like I say, off their neurosis. And it ain't no black thing, ain't no white. It's across the board thing. I'll be on Twitter. It's a bunch of, to me, it's more white folks on Twitter than anything else. Most of them ain't got 3 cents. Right? And I mean, they ain't got 3 cents, but they love Elon Musk, a billionaire, and they ain't got $3. Right? So this is the type of stuff that go on. Okay, let's keep going. The relationship conflict promoters don't talk about this side of life. See, we dealing with the real side of life. They don't talk about that because that don't blow my YouTube up. That don't blow up my Twitter page. That don't get me to, I don't know, a few 100,000 people to pay me $50 every month. So I can't talk about that. I got to figure out what do they want to hear and feed that to them. So these people have a neurosis. They've been traumatized. They've been damaged around relationships. And they want to hear that everything's wrong with another person. So I'm going to feed that to them and make myself rich. Right? And as this happens in our society, because you got to realize the narrative creates the environment that keeps this going. So I always got a new population of people to feed into my funnel. It's only when they don't come back into my funnels that we solve the problem. See, so the narrative creates the population, which then creates more people to feed into my funnel. So I got an infinite cash machine, right? I got a guy we used to call it, the guy that taught me email marketing, called it a self-liquidating funnel. Well, the funnel pays for itself, right? Well, normally you say, hey, I make a sales funnel. I got to pay to drive traffic into the sales funnel. This machine is what we call a flywheel in business, right? So let me give you a quick example, right? Amazon has a flywheel. What's a flywheel? The more business Amazon does, the more business they can do, right? Understand that. That's why they make so much money. They got a great, what we call flywheel in business. I don't have a great flywheel because why? The more business I do, the less business I could do. But the more business Amazon does, the more business they can now go do. That's a great flywheel, right? That's one of the reasons why software is such a great business, because why? The more software you sell, the more software you can sell, right? So the more people they create that buy into this narrative, the more people it creates that have that same type of framework. So what? I keep producing more and more people I can deal with. So I keep making more and more money because they just here to hear this message, right? So the people that get caught up and get lost in the sauce, we don't worry about them because they never come back anyway. They out of here. They doing bad. They lose their internet service. They living on the street, right? They they strung out on drugs somewhere, right? All kind of stuff happened to them. Keep moving because they don't really know these people in real life anyway. They just numbers on the spreadsheet. They're paying $50 a month, or that's buying their course or watching their YouTube video. That's it. If they don't comment, who knows who they are? So they got their own life in the real world. Only time they interact with these people is when they cut on the internet. Then they cut it off and go back to their real life, right? But they don't talk about this. So the relationship conflict profiteers, the only way they make money is conflict in relationships. If everything's going good and people got their life together, they ain't got no reason for these folks. They don't have a message for these people because they only here to explain why relationships not working for you, right? That's it. That's the only reason why they're here, to explain that. And it's always something wrong with the other person. Let's keep going. Biggest choke point in customer service is the admin staff in the medical industry. Anybody that's ever dealt with medical, I'm here to tell you, I know the biggest choke point is the admin staff, right? Again, to all my admins for this particular live chat, we passed that 15-minute mark. A lot of people that came in that's probably not normally coming in. Like I said, people can communicate, they can talk, they can say what they got to say. But if they get sideways, time them out, please. If they get sideways after that, they start getting away from what we're talking about. They fight with people in the chat, yada, yada, yada. Get them up out of here. We're not having that today. This is a serious topic. So we're not having no nonsense. We ain't cutting no corners with it, right? We program a certain type of way over here. If you can't program like that, man, go do something else, right? Biggest choke point in the customer service is the admin staff. When you're dealing with the medical industry, the biggest choke point is the admin. The medical industry still employs literally hundreds of thousands of people to work the front desk, customer facing positions, right? They're the biggest choke point in the whole industry. A lot of times when you look at the review of a person's business, they'll be like, hey, man, I like this doctor. I can't stand their staff. But you got to deal with their staff. Every time you make an appointment, every time you got to get a prescription filled, you got to call to renew the prescription. You got to keep dealing with their staff. And they'll tell you, man, these people's staff is terrible. Okay, that's a problem. But it's something people don't talk about because they ain't had to deal with it yet. You deal with this in the doctor's office, also in the insurance companies. Call your insurance company right now. You probably get somebody an agent that don't know anything, right? Because they don't get paid to know the business of that particular business that they represent. You call in a phone center, they got a script, they got a framework, a workflow that they know to run through. They don't know anything about the business that they're representing. That's how these insurance companies cut the cost to make all the money, right? But you're sick and you got to deal with these type of situations. Okay, let's keep going. How many hours are lost trying to get people that are not motivated to work to really do their job? Right? Call your insurance company right now. No, you can't call them now. They close. Call them on Monday when they open and try to get something done. You'll be on the phone for 2 hours. Because them people don't care. Right? Call your doctor's office right now and try to get something done. If you're lucky, you can get it done. You might be unlucky and have to call back 2 or 3 times that same week. Because I'm going to say this, a lot of people don't want to hear this. I don't want to be disrespectful to nobody. But I don't believe that these doctor's offices, when they're looking to staff, they admin, they're looking for the best and the brightest. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. Right? They just looking for somebody to sit in that chair and type on the computer. That's pretty much their job. But they're a choke point in the business. And with all this artificial intelligence and yada, yada, they still have not gotten rid of those people. For whatever reason, they're still there. In other businesses, they're gone. But in that particular space, they there. And it is what it is. Right? Pharmacies are a little bit better because you got to know a little bit more to work in a pharmacy. But when you go to like a general doctor's office, it's just terrible to me. For the most part. Not 100%, not everybody. But for the most part. But you got to navigate this because you're by yourself. You don't have nobody to help you. Let's keep going. As a single person, you're going to be navigating this all by yourself. You a single person, you got to call your insurer to figure out how come they didn't approve this particular situation by yourself. Right? You don't have nobody to help you out with that. You got to research it all on your own. You got doctor's offices that are so bad, you got to give them the person that you want to get the referral for and give them the referral and then hope they do the process. Because their admin staff is that terrible. They won't even fax nothing. They just terrible. They want their check though every 2 weeks, but other than that, they ain't gonna do much work. So you a single person, you got to navigate this all by yourself and work and do everything else, right? And catch these people on YouTube telling you that you don't need to have nobody, right? You got to do all that. You got to keep all that going now. Okay, let's keep going. Again, the relationship conflict profiteers don't talk about this side of life because they know you don't want to hear that. You want everything you do and you want your point of view about the world justified. Right? So they know that. So they feed you. They figure out what your neurosis is and they feed that neurosis to make themselves millionaires. Okay, let's keep going. You're single. You need transport to the medical appointment. Who gonna take you? Can you depend on your friends to take you to and from? So let's say you single and you need to get a procedure and after the procedure, you can't drive. How you gonna get there? Right? You a woman. Do you trust a service for you to be incapacitated? Do you trust a service to transport you? Because you don't know these people. When I first heard about Uber, I thought it was the craziest thing in the world because I like, you gonna trust somebody you don't know to drive you somewhere? Right? But you're single, you need transport to a medical appointment. Who gonna take you? Can you depend on your friends to take you to and from? You know, can you? Or are they only with you when you know it's time to go to brunch and sip mimosas and sit in a little chat room on a video and talk crazy, or go out and go to the bar? That's when they cool with you. But when you in a downturn in your life, can you depend on them? Right? And so this one, a lot of people find out they don't have the friends they thought they had. They just got some people to hang out with. So if you don't have transport, you got something called MENT. That provides transportation for Medicaid members for medically necessary appointments. To be eligible, members got to have no other way to get to their appointment. You got to have Uber. You got Uber Health now. You got Health Force of Georgia. You got Georgia Professional Care Service, LLC. You got United Way 211 Atlanta. And you got something else called Southside Medical. Now, I don't know the conditions of these other services, right? I go to a gym. There's a service there that picks up older people from where I don't know where they take them to. I don't know where they get them from. Right? But because people realize there's a gap in our society, they figured out a way to serve that population. Let's watch a real quick video on Uber Health real quick.
To the Uber Health Global Head, that's Caitlin Donovan at that conference. We got to hear all the ways Uber Health is trying to leverage transportation to drive healthcare accessibility.
You might think of Uber as that app in your pocket on your smartphone, but Uber Health is actually a little bit different. We're that provider-facing tool so that we can address the needs of the most vulnerable population that might not know how to, want to, or can't navigate a system on their own. So coming out of the pandemic, where we saw an increasing need for these services, we've spent a lot of time thinking about how to make what we're doing scalable, because our impact has been so great at the individual community level. And so really spend a lot of time with health plans across Medicaid, Medicare Advantage, and now employer-sponsored plans, thinking about how to structure benefit designs that drive the right behaviors and outcomes of their underlying patient populations.
So in a nutshell, employer-sponsored plans can now add Uber rides to the hospital, to the doctor's office.
That's exactly right. The way to think about it is, these benefits have been around for a long time. For Medicaid, transportation's been a covered benefit since 1966. Medicare Advantage plans, more than 50% now cover transportation. And we started getting a lot of inbound requests for employers, which at first surprised me. I thought of employee populations as those that were stable in their job with access to care, but the data proves to be a little bit more nuanced, right? With a recent study of 5.1 million commercial members found that 27% lived at 200% of the poverty line or below, used preventative services 50% less, and saw 4 times more preventable admissions.
Wow.
To me, that speaks to those same underlying social determinants of health issues and a real problem that we need to proactively solve.
Okay, so you just heard her say that Uber used data around poverty and income and services to understand to build out this business model. She just told you. So again, everybody else that really understands how to look at this stuff is using data. They not like listen to people on YouTube that got, like relationship channels, and talking about, if a man can't do this, he ain't no good. Or, if a woman won't do this, she ain't no good. They're not doing that. They're just looking at data, and they know the condition of people from an economic standpoint. So Uber knows how to build out this vertical based on the economic situation, the poverty situation, and the services of people in the United States. She said 5.1 million people, right? That's the reality. That's the reality that a lot of people are living in, even though they live it in the fantasy world, because they can come on this internet and fake. And they got a person that's going to fake with them as long as they make sure they get some money, whether it's views, you buy my course, you go to my live event, you go into my own, what we call the real world, which is phony, which is interesting that it's called the real world, but it's on the internet, and pay me $50 a month. And we sit up in here, act like we talking about some high level stuff, but really the dude is just gassing you. Right. So I want you to kind of understand this is what's going on around you. Uber's realized there's a gap in services. And let's look to fill that gap in services because we believe it's going to be profitable. And they're making that decision based on the data that they have access to. Okay, let's keep going. Now let's go into elderly care, right? Nobody talks about this because nobody's going to get old. You blessed to get old, but nobody going to get old, just how it works in America. Nobody going to get old, right? Everybody, they think they're going to be 25 years old forever. It's not going to work that way, but they think that. Cost of long-term care, okay? Let's look at some of the cost of long-term care. Here's this particular seniorliving.org, okay? Find nursing homes, national median cost of nursing home care in 2024. We go into semi-private rooms, private room. Semi-private room, median cost, right? Daily $294, monthly 8 stacks, really 9 stacks, annually $107. Private room, $330, monthly 10 stacks, annually $120,000. Right? Now let's break it down to the state level. Nursing home costs by state. Alabama, semi-private, 8 stacks. Private cost per month, 8 stacks. Alaska, $19,000 semi-private, based on this particular website, which is seniorliving.org. Private cost per month, $35,000. I don't know how anybody affords that. You might as well go ahead and buy you a whole house. Right? Cali, 11 and 13, semi-private, private. Connecticut, 15 and 17. Delaware, 11 and 12. Right? So what I want you to understand is that nobody's talking about this. We live in a population where people are living older and older and older and older and older. So what does that mean? Somebody's going to have to take care of some of these people. But that's not going to be cheap. They're not going to just do it just because they want to do it. They got to get paid to do it. So you got verticals that are being built to take care of older people. They charge a lot of money too. Have you thought about that? Why you talking about you don't need nobody? Well, you need some money then. So we still dealing with the same income data. We still dealing with the same wealth issues, right? We still dealing with the same debt issues that hit certain segments of our population. You know you're going to need money on the back end, but you don't have no plan to go get that money. So what's going to happen when you get to the back end? But you made the person rich telling you that you don't need it. So they got their money. They good. You just ain't going to have yours. See? They got their money. You made them a millionaire talking about this type of stuff. Andrew Tate got his long-term care tied up. Him and his brother, they good. They secure. You just ain't going to have yours. Right? The person that's telling you everything wrong with being married, they married and they making their money. Everything wrong with being a man. So you're going to let a man tell you everything wrong with being a man. Why don't start with him then? He a man. Oh, he different. I get it. Okay. Now understand. Now he different. I get it. So you let a man tell you, you a bunch of women, you let a man minister to you about everything wrong with a man, but him, he different. I get it. He the special case. I get it. Now I understand what's going on. I was missing it for a long time, but now I see it. He different. So he's secure. He got his long-term care off y'all. But when you need that long-term care, hit him up and see what he got for you. See if he shoots your son. It might last a month. Now you right back at square one. Right? Or you listen to some woman tell you everything wrong with men, but she deal with men. But she telling you what she think you want to hear. Right? You understand what I'm trying to tell you? That one chick, man, showed her a hustler. She's a two-dime hustler. Anybody been outside know what they looking at. That woman that claimed that dude did that woman's a two-bit hustler. Anybody been outside know what they looking at. The problem with y'all ain't been outside. Y'all outside is the internet. She a two-bit hustler. She hustled from situation to situation. Everything a hustle to her. She don't want to go get a job. So she just get on the internet and say whatever she got to say. She's a hustler. But she had an audience though too. She had a big audience to me. Right? Now she got a video done did 2 million. She got some more checks coming her way. Telling people what they want to hear. That's how you get rich. You don't get rich telling folks the truth. That's how you go broke. Let's keep going. What happened if you don't have it? We talked about that. So look at them numbers. We know most Americans can't go touch 1,000. Right? We know we got a large percent of our population don't make $50,000 a year. Right? We got a large percent of our population, even though they claim they got the most education, they also carry the most debt. They got massive debt that they got to service. Right? That's the real numbers. So when you get to this point and you ain't got it, now what you going to do? Because you know you don't need nobody. You got it. Okay, cool. Keep going. Them prices ain't going to go down for you. They're going to go up. The relationship conflict profit deals don't talk about this side of life. They leave this out. This don't work for the business model. Right? This don't work for the business model, so we got to leave that out. Make sure we don't put that slide in the, because, you know, this don't work for the business model. So we're going to leave that part out. Right? Because they're not going to watch. They're not going to buy my courses. They're not going to buy into my next mastermind. They're not going to buy into that if we talk about that. So we got to make sure we leave that part out. But we going to be secure. Right? So you got to realize you're in a predatory system. It trains people. The way you're going to make money is to be predatory on each other. You're going to feed off each other. It's a cannibalistic system. That's how you get paid in this system. Say whatever you got to say, do whatever you got to do. And once you see that's what's going on, you see it, but a lot of people can't see it. Because all you got to do is create a certain presentation for certain people. They don't see it. Right? Like you got to be, to me, the most obtuse hustle in the world. Well, women do the same thing too. You got a chick. She used to be out here in Atlanta. People in Atlanta know who I'm talking about. Right? She married an ex-basketball player. She used to work out here in the A at a restaurant. I knew who she was. And she tried to be entertainer. That didn't work. She go get her some breast implants, right? To give her some shape. And then she gonna tell me and everything wrong with women. Well, what's wrong with you then? You a woman. And she got a bunch of ducks that's how she finally made money doing that. That was the one thing. The rapping didn't work. Trying to, get you some dudes to break bread with you. That didn't work. You know what I'm saying? That didn't work. So she jumped on the YouTube during the pandemic with the implants, right? And now she tell dudes everything wrong with women. And here's how this and this, that. And dudes just sit there and pay all the attention in the world. Because I guess she aspirational to these dudes. Right? And that's how she finally blow up. But ain't nothing wrong with her, though. Ain't she a chick? So I don't even understand that messaging. Well, I'm going to tell you everything wrong with the opposite sex, but I'm a member of the opposite sex. What, don't that include me? I guess I'm the special case. Okay, cool. This stuff plays out here. This is what plays on the internet. This is what plays on the internet. So you just got to keep going with it. But I feel bad for these people because when they hit the end of this thing, they're going to realize, man, these people lying to me. And I'm not saying I ain't never lied. I've lied before in my life. I had to repent for it. I had to ask for forgiveness. But I have never built a career on the internet consistently lying to people to make money. I've never done that. Right? And I got real track record to prove it. You can't find nobody that took my course, say, man, I took David Options course, and man, everything in that man was fugu gaga. You can't get nobody to say that. You can't get nobody to say that. I didn't build my career on the internet just figuring out how I'm gonna lie to somebody to get some money. Right? So that's what I want you to understand. I'm not perfect. I have lied to people for in my life. I had to repent for it and ask for forgiveness. But I didn't build my internet career off fugazi. Ain't none fugazi about me. Am I perfect? No. But anybody that really know me in real life over an extended period of time, I ain't just making this up as I go along and try to figure out what's going to be my hot little thing. Just, I don't know, but y'all keep going with it. See where I take it. What happens if you're alone and you have a major health crisis? Let's get into it, right? We're talking about Miss Tory Boy, right? This make me real emotional because this should have never took place. And this goes to show you in real life that this stuff these people is talking about in that is false. It go to show you. But you got to be able to see it for what it is. So now we're going to talk about this particular athlete, right? Let's get to the stats real quick because I want people to understand this because what they're going to try to do with this story, they're going to try to twist it. Don't work on me. Right? I follow a lot of athletes on the internet. Big fan of athletes. Big fan of women's sports. Big supporter of women's sports. Women got a right to play. Men don't like it. That's their problem. Most men is jealous of women's athletes. That's their big problem because they was never the athlete that they wanted to be. I didn't have that issue. I told somebody that I never wanted to be a pro. I just like to play. I'm not one of these guys that, you know, I wish I did what I want to do in my career. Did I mess up some parts of my career? It is what it is. I'm not sitting back saying, oh man, it's whatever. Right? It's whatever. But I'm not 5'7" and unathletic. So I just didn't have that complex about it. So I don't have no problem with no woman athlete. Do what you do, shorty. If you nice, you nice. Right? So we're going to run down Miss Bowie's stats. She was 32 years old when she passed. She was 5'9". She was 136 pounds, around that range. That's her in-season weight. I want you to remember that because that's going to come into play later. Right? And when you're an athlete at this level, your weight is different because a majority of it are going to be muscle. There's this thing that you can take if you go to the right type of doctor. They can weigh you and they can see how much of your body frame is muscle. And when you're dealing with people that got more of an athletic frame, a larger percentage of their frame, when you look at their limbs, their trunk, their legs, it's going to be more muscle because of the way in which their body's built. So even though they may have a certain weight, there's going to be a higher level or higher population, or I don't know what you want to call that particular word, a muscle as compared to somebody else that could be a similar height, similar weight, but they frame built different. But I want you to realize this because it's going to come into play, right? Found deceased weighing 96 pounds. So let's go back. She 136 in season weight. When they found her deceased, she was weighing 96 pounds. She was weighing 96 pounds. So I want you to remember this because it's going to come back into play later. So what we're going to do really quickly is we're going to read an article on this particular situation, and we're going to watch a video. Let's go up to it real quick. This was in 2023, June. Tory Bowie, an elite Olympic athlete, she about that Mississippi, died of complications from childbirth. She from a town a little bit northeast of Jackson, real small city. When Tory Bowie was found dead last month at 32 years old, she was 8 months pregnant and she died due to complications from childbirth. The revelation came from the Orange County Medical Examiner's Office in Florida, which released its autopsy report. Bowie, who was found in bed alone in home, had been undergoing labor. Okay. The autopsy report listed the weight for Bowie. I keep calling her Bowie, but Bowie at 5'9" at 96 pounds. It repeatedly described her body and organs as being in normal condition. Okay. So we know her in-season weight. They found her at 96 pounds and she died due to complications from childbirth. And she was found in bed alone in a home, having undergone labor. Those are specifics of the situation. I know where she was at when she passed away. Let's go into that real quick before we get into the video while we're already on this slide. Okay, she was in the Horizon West area, right? This the block she passed on that Bowman. She passed away on that Bowman block, right? This Horizon West is West Atlanta. It's a new area in Atlanta, real nice over there. They got a brand new hospital, whole 9 yards. Okay, so she passed away on that Bowman block, right? Okay, bam. These are the houses in the area that was sold in the area in which she passed in. She didn't die in no poor area. This wasn't no woman that died in the ghetto somewhere. She had bread. She was doing real well for herself financially. But there was one major issue of what took place with her. And I'm going to show you how we don't want to go into that issue because these people reporting this story, their job is to deceive Black women. And it's working real well. It's working. They ain't just their job. They own their job and they're successful at their job. But this woman didn't die poor. She didn't die somewhere in some ghetto somewhere. She didn't die somewhere in some back alley. This woman died in a home in a nice part of the city. Real nice part of the city. Horizon West is a brand new part of the city. Really, it's Winter Garden, but you know, they be renaming stuff, right? This is that Horizon West area of Orange County, right? Let's see if the internet will catch up, right? This that area. So this is where she passed away at. Keep zooming out, right? So it's west of Lake Butler, all that Windermere is west of that. Real nice area, real nice. There's really nothing out there, but you know, that's the time to get in when ain't nothing out there. This is where she passed away at. Okay, so again, she didn't die in no ghetto somewhere. Okay, now let's watch a video real quick in which they're gonna kind of break down what took place with her.
In today's Health Alert, the autopsy report of three-time Olympic medalist Tori Bowie revealed the star athlete died from complications due to childbirth. She was just 32 years old and 8 months pregnant when she was found dead in her bed last month. Our chief health editor, Dr. Parthenandy, is here to talk about possible respiratory distress, eclampsia. This is such a sad story. Can you please explain?
Yeah, it really is, right? Tori Bowie was a fantastic athlete, once the fastest woman in the world, right, Glenda? To hear that she died from complications from childbirth was just, to me, heartbreaking. And the autopsy report now shows that Tori was in labor at the time of her death. However, this elite athlete was not intending to have a home birth, according to her agent, so it sounds like the baby was coming early. As for conditions that may have led to her death, respiratory distress and eclampsia, both can be very serious. Now, so respiratory distress means that her lungs were probably having trouble exchanging air and she was having difficulty breathing. Any complication can result in respiratory failure. However, it should be noted that respiratory failure is rare and affects only about 0.2% of all pregnancies. Now, as for eclampsia, this is a serious complication of another condition called preeclampsia. If you develop preeclampsia during pregnancy, that means you have high blood pressure, excessive protein in the urine, severe headaches, swelling, shortness of breath, and blurred vision or light sensitivity. As for eclampsia, that's when a person with preeclampsia can develop seizures. Symptoms can include shaking, confusion, and disorientation. Very serious and requires emergency medical care, as it can lead to coma, stroke, or even death.
So eclampsia affecting about 3% of people with preeclampsia, and studies are showing that Black women face more cases of preeclampsia and eclampsia. Why is that, and what can we do about it?
Yeah, it's really shocking, I'll tell you, that the U.S. has more women dying during delivery, Glenda, or shortly after childbirth than any other developed nation. Not a good statistic at all. And Black women are 3 times more likely than white women to die from a pregnancy-related complication. As for why this is happening, several reasons like discrimination, poverty, and poor care. To me, all those are...
Okay, so they go into this, now they kind of, to me, change the narrative. So first we're talking about Tori. Then they now want to create this narrative around it being Black women die from pregnancy-related complications. Those two things are true, but I'm telling you why this is not a connection. And let me give a disclaimer real quick. And I should have said this at the beginning of the video, but I'm going to say it now. So the people that watch it, they're going to hear it. People going to look at this and they're going to say, man, you not married. Why you keep talking about people being together, yada, yada, yada. You know why I can do this? Because y'all let pastors who got porn addictions minister to y'all. That's why I can do that. I don't feel no conviction. See, I used to be hesitant, and I realized you got whole pastors out here that's married with porn addictions, ministering, leading churches, and y'all ain't got no issue with it. So I know y'all ain't gonna say nothing to me. Y'all ain't gonna say nothing to me about nothing, right? So when that come up, I forgot to throw that in. That just hit me right now to say that. So y'all got pastors, y'all got evangelists, right? Doing seminars, selling materials, selling books, married with porn addictions. And didn't feel no conviction about ministering to people. So yeah, I can be single and talk about people being married as a single person. I sure can do that because I don't have no porn addiction. I don't watch porn, right? I don't watch porn. So I know if people can lead churches, got ministries, sitting in front of congregations every Sunday, they married, got a porn addiction, and don't nobody say nothing to them, yo man, leave me alone. Oh, Larry, leave me alone. Let's keep going. So what they doing is they spinning it into this particular argument. But I'm here to tell you, that's not what's going on. And I'm going to show you that's not what's going on. But see, it's a spin. That's what you learn in marketing. You learn to take a story and spin it to what we want it to be about. So the front part is true, but now we spin it to what we want it to be about. Right? That's what a lot of people try to do when they come to this channel. They try to spin it. They try to do that with the video I did with Latasha. They ain't make it. Because you can't spin it into what we want it to be. Right? So that's what I'm saying. So that's a marketing technique also. It's called a spin. We take what's real. We take the real part that we spin it into what we want the narrative to be. The two issues are real. But I'm telling you, there's something else going on with Tory that they're not talking about, but we're going to get into it, right? The reason why I can trade, because I can see straight through this type of stuff. Let's go back here. Okay. Found deceased weighing 96 pounds. How does this happen? That's the question. How does this take place? First question, where was her support system? Right? Where was her support system? I thought we doing Black Girl Magic, the 4B movement. People say where the father at? She probably had IVF. A lot of these chicks out here getting IVF. I know another chick ran track. She one time was the fastest woman in the world. This woman I know that ran track. She a coach now. She got a baby. She had IVF. She ain't got no husband. She ain't got no boyfriend. That's how she had a baby. A lot of these chicks have an IVF out here. It is what it is. Technology. Right? Where was her female support system? Since we doing Black Girl Magic, Girl Power, the 4B movement, we the centering men, men ain't no good. Where was her support system? Why she was in that house all by herself? Right? Next question. Why was she in that shape by herself at 8 months? We ain't gonna talk about nothing else. Let's deal with this issue right now with this one woman. How at 32 years old, why was she was 8 months pregnant. Why was she in that shape? Why was she 96 pounds? If she had these conditions, if she had these health issues, why was she by herself at 8 months pregnant? I know somebody that had high blood pressure at pregnant. You know what they had to do? They had to go sit up in the hospital the rest of their pregnancy. You know why they could do that? Because they were married. So their husband held things down at home. They sat in the hospital the rest of their pregnancy. The doctor told them, if you don't go to the hospital, you ain't gonna keep these kids. Doctor told her straight out, you ain't gonna keep these kids if you don't go to the hospital. So they had to sit in the hospital and just sit there until they had their baby. Right? But they was married, they could do that. Why was she in shape by herself at 8 months? Where was the Black Girl Magic at? Where was that? Where was the centering Black men group at? Where they was at for the backup? Right? So she out there in Horizon West on the west side of the county, right? In the sticks by herself at 8 months pregnant at 96 pounds. Where everybody was at? They must have been at the brunch. They must have been at the brunch when she was doing that. Okay, keep going. Why was this story being framed as a Black female birth mortality issue? This is an issue about this woman that died in the house by herself. Again, she had pre-existing situations before all of this took place. How come nobody dealt with that? She didn't wake up that day and was 96 pounds. She passed away at 96 pounds. So as she losing weight as a pregnant woman, how come nobody ain't addressing the situation? You see what I'm saying? So then once she passed away, let's spin it to this Black female mortality issue. I'm going to ask again. I always thought, I could be wrong. I never had no baby. So I could just be off base. So let me know in the comments if I'm just tripping. I thought when women got pregnant, they gained weight. So how you 130 something and when you training and you get pregnant and you dropping almost 40 pounds? What's going on? What's going on? But see, we can't talk about that. So we got to spin in the sun now because we got to stay off that issue right there because that's the question I'm going to ask. Right? How you dropping weight when you pregnant? Now, if I'm wrong, you say, David, you know what? I was pregnant and I lost 40 pounds. Let me know because I ain't never had no baby, so I can't speak to that. I'm trying to figure every woman I know that got pregnant, especially later on in their pregnancy, man, they got so big it was crazy. Right? So I've never known a woman to lose 40 pounds in pregnancy. And if she did, that's another reason why, how come nobody not with this woman? Because obviously she going through something. So why we don't have her under observation? Let's keep going. Where was her support system? Why was she in that shape by herself at 8 months? Where was her support system? Where was the network? Because on the internet, it's, we decentering. So y'all just, okay, so what the network? What did the decentering network at? Right? Where that's at? Why was she in that shape by herself at 8 months pregnant? Where was the 4B click at? The 4B clicker, where they at? Where they at? See, but they don't care. They just go on to the next video. Right? They just go to the next video. They just do the next live stream. They don't care about that woman because they don't care about women, period. They predators. Their job is to strip mine. So you got women that don't care about women that'll tell women anything they need to tell to get what they want to get out of the situation. They just hustling. Why? Because they don't want to go to work. They don't want to work. People trying to duck work, man, to do the craziest things in the world, man, because they don't want to take their ass to work. They don't want to work. So they get on this internet and do whatever they got to do. They get on TikTok and say whatever they got to say because why? I don't want to work. I don't want to go to school and learn a skill to be valuable in this society. In one of the easiest countries in the world to make some money. I don't want to do that. So let me get on the internet a lot of people about the real world and deceive folks and get them caught up. And then when something go wrong, I just go on to the next story. Because my audience ain't got the intelligence to ask the kind of questions I'm asking. I'm looking at this like I'll be looking at a trade. Why did we have these situations going on behind the scenes and nobody addressed this situation? And people going to come up with every excuse in the world except how come this woman was by herself? If she got so many female friends, let y'all tell it on the internet. Let's keep going. Was Tori supposed to have the baby unassisted in the home all by herself? Again, I've never had a child. Any woman that's had a child, can you have a baby in the home unassisted? Is that how you're supposed to do it? So she was through labor. See, you watch the video. The video don't tell you that she went through labor. The video don't say that. When they show the video, they don't talk about that part. That woman went through labor in that house. So she was supposed to have it unassisted because she by herself. So let's get to the black female birth mortality piece later. Let's talk about the fact that a woman had a baby in the house unassisted. We in 2023 when she passed away. We ain't in the 1400s in Africa. Right? This woman was in a home in a modern world, in a modern country. She literally was right down the street from the hospital. I know where the hospital at in my horizon was. She right down the street from a brand new hospital. And she having a baby unassisted in the house, dolo. How that work? Again, if I'm wrong because I'm a man, I ain't never had no baby, tell me if I'm wrong. Because I didn't know that's how you're supposed to do it. I watched a whole bunch of videos of home birth before I did this video. Everyone I seen, a lady in the room with a whole bunch of people. I didn't see one where the lady was in the room all by herself. Right? But like I say, if I'm wrong, let me know. I'm not a woman. I never had a child. So let me know now. Clue me in. Let's keep going. Was Tori supposed to cut the umbilical cord and expel the placenta all by herself? Was she supposed to do that by herself? Right? Because you hear these stories of like, some lady had a baby by herself. Okay, cool. I seen something on YouTube where the lady was in the car and the baby just came out. Okay, cool. But then they went to the hospital. Right? But that lady was in good health when that happened. She wasn't in bad health. Tori was in bad health. Tori was 96 pounds. Right? So Tori was supposed to have a baby, cut the umbilical cord, expel the placenta all by herself. What if something go wrong? What if she had bleeding issues? Now what we gonna do? She by herself. So now she got to take the baby, get in the car, and drive to Horizon West Hospital. That's an ORMC hospital out there, all by herself. Or maybe call Uber, wait for Uber to show up. Uber driver don't want all that in his car. That's what she was supposed to do, because you by yourself. So this is what I'm trying to get you to understand. This is the real story that they not asking, right? Let me see. I got another question. Here's another question I want to ask before I go to that one. How much you think the baby weighed? She 96 pounds, had a baby at 8 months. How much you think the baby weighed? Right? So this is what I'm trying to figure out. As she's deteriorating, how come nobody not coming to her assistance? That's supposed to be your sister. As this woman's condition is deteriorating over time, how come nobody came to this woman's assistance? See, they don't want to ask, so they want to talk about black female mortality. I know why they want to do that, because that's what I'm going to ask. Why didn't nobody come to this woman's assistance? Why she out there all by herself? Because we're talking about a person that's in peak condition before they got pregnant. This woman wasn't in no bad condition before she got pregnant. This woman an athlete. If you know who this woman is, you see what kind of athlete this woman was. This woman was a serious athlete. How did her condition deteriorate that fast? This wasn't no obese woman when she had that baby. Because if she had those kind of conditions, she could have never played the sport she played. Right? Let's keep going. This story speaks. This is my own commentary. We're going to get off the facts. We're going to go to my commentary. Lack of concern for black women as human beings. Black women in this country, they use to push narratives. Care about them as human beings, don't care. Why? Never have cared. Right? Never have cared. We can go back in this country where black women were seen as literally the same way as cattle. Never cared. Still don't care. Just act like they care. Get some black people to sit up there and act like they care too. Their job is to get money off the black woman by lying to them from the other people that put them up there, but don't care about them because they never spoke to what this woman dealt with in that house. They go to black mortality and they never talk about what did that woman go through in that house all by herself going through that. How did it get to that situation? Tori was a 1% athlete in the world. If you make the Olympics, you a 1%er. You ain't got to win no medal. You just got to make the Olympics. I don't care what sport it is. I don't care if you shoot a gun. You're a 1%er. Tori not only was a 1%er by being an Olympian, she got medals. She's a 1% of the 1%. So we know she was in good physical condition, but she died at 96 pounds. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? See, this is why I don't entertain none of this stuff, bro. These people do not care about black women, and it's black women that don't care about black women. It's predators preying on predators. It's like a lion eating a tiger. Nobody, they don't care about each other at all. It's who gonna get over on the next person first, right? I'm a 2-bit hustler selling to women that they need to get a rich man. And I'm a 2-bit hustler doing that, right? Then when that go bad, I jump up and I come out with a video and throw up a GoFundMe to get some more money out of them same women I was lying to the past 3 or 4 years. This is the game. I'm a hoe napper, right? Made my money hoe napping. And then what I do now is I go put up a website and I'm going to tell men how to be a man. I ain't no damn man because men don't hoe nap, right? We don't stuff women in cars and lock women in houses. We don't do that, homeboy. She don't want to be there. She ain't got to be there. We don't do that. So he can't give you game he don't have. He don't have the game to teach you how to be no man. He's a hoe napper. But I'm a lot of these dudes and tell them I'm going to teach them how to be a man. Or I'm a dude and I got a relationship and I'm making good money telling women that everything wrong with men. This is what's going on in the world today. You got to know who these people working for. I don't care how they put their presentation up there. Let's keep going. I talked about this before. What was the size of the child at the time of the birth? Why was she allowed to deteriorate to that point during her pregnancy? Nobody don't want to ask that question. Right? All this black girl magic going on out here. Right? All this decentering and the 4B. So where the 4B click I was at? Where the click out? The whole Tory down while she going through something. So she just sit in the house and just waste away. Right? And we just move on to the next situation. Right? So I can tell people they never come from no real family because we don't do stuff like that. But this is what, like I said, you create the narrative, you indoctrinate people into the narrative, they buy into it, they produce more people. It's a flywheel, it's a feedback mechanism, it's a self-perpetuating cycle. So they don't see nothing wrong with it. So when Tori fall off like that, we just move on to the next situation. Right? The hell with her, just move on to the next situation. One less, because we don't care about black women anyway. Right? We don't really care about black women like that. Right? Because if we did, we wouldn't let one sit up in the house and waste away and have to go into labor by herself at 96 pounds. But she normally walk away at 130, so something got to be going on. Why don't we see what's going on with our sister? And why you keep losing weight like that? Is it a medical condition? Like, what's going on? So she ain't had no friends. I don't care what nobody say after the fact. She ain't have not one friend in the world. You can't fool me because you don't let nobody go through that. Right? So that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Her agent should have messed around and tried to get power of attorney. I would have tried to have that woman institutionalized before I let her go through that. She got a child. Relationship, conflict, profiteers don't talk about this side of life. They can't talk about it. Right? Can't make no videos on it. We can't make no money off of that. We got to tell you everything wrong with somebody else. Here's what's wrong with men. Here's what's wrong with women. So you one of them women claiming that you're going to create a society of all women. Okay, do that. You see what happened when you when you go through, son. They leave you by yourself. They like them people in you remember The Walking Dead? Them people, they used to put them skins on their face. And if you had any issues, they just kept going. They ain't wait for nobody. That's the clique you running with. Right? Y'all remember that Walking Dead? I forgot what you called it. They used to put the skins on their face. They was real rough too. They was cutthroats. But if you had any issues, you got sick, you got hurt. If a baby cried too loud, wasn't no stopping. Right? They just kept moving. They let them zombies just eat you up. They kept pushing. That's the kind of clique you running with. So these are the kind of cliques you running with. We're going to just have an all women's environment. Okay, don't get sick then. You better not get sick. Because they don't care nothing about you. They're going to just let you die. They going to brunch. Right? They go into a Cozumel or whatever. They finna go do their thing. You just going to sit up in the house and die because you can't keep up. You feel me? So that's all we're going to talk about. That's the presentation. I want you to really think about it, man, when you buy into these lies these people telling you. Let me get to the first frame real quick. You buy into these lies these people telling you that you don't need nobody. Right? You need more people than you need. We need a whole community of people. But it starts with your own group. Right? You never gonna hear me get up here and say I don't need a woman. You never gonna hear me say nothing like that. That's ridiculous, bro. And it's opposite of the word of God. Right? You never gonna hear me create no message like that. My laws of game was not about telling men they don't need to be with women. That ain't what that laws of game about. Right? It's about telling men not to get caught up in stuff that's not gonna make them a good fit for a woman because they getting caught up. Because we teach a lot of men like Andrew Tate that the only role of a woman is just somebody to have sex with. That's not the only role of a woman. But you get resistance from women when you try to tell men that, because I don't know what's going on out here, man. We just in a crazy time period, man, in this world. I don't know what's going on. The aliens must be ready to come through up with this thing, man, because it's just weird out here. The question we're going to ask when we get up on out here, man. Who profits from you being alone? Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself that question. Who make money from you being by yourself? Financially, can you answer that question? Right? How long do you benefit from being by yourself? Since you get so much benefit from being by yourself, how long you benefit? So what happens when you end up like Miss Tori, where you by yourself and you sick? You still benefiting? This one was 32 years old. This one was 62. She was 72. That one was 32. She's a young woman. She in the prime of her physical career. And something happened to her to where she deteriorated like that. And it just went all downhill. And she by herself. And the 4B click out didn't show up. Right? The Dissentering click didn't show. They're going to make another YouTube video, but you ain't see them in real life. Tori died in real life over there on the west side. Right? I'm from the section. I know where she at. Because I'm really from the section. Y'all from the internet. I know where that woman passed away at. Did nobody show up in real life? They're going to make another YouTube video, though. They're going to do something on Twitter. They're going to make another TikTok. right? That's what they gonna do. That's about all they really good for in real life, though. She needed real life help. She ain't need YouTube help. You feel me? So you need to ask yourself that. When you hit that bump in the road, when something go wrong, where these folks gonna be at? Are they just gonna wait for you to fall off and they gonna make another video and monetize your death and move on like they doing this one chick who claiming how you trying to make video on some children becoming sexually assaulted? That's your come up, right? These people crawling around on their belly, man, on Larry. These people out here crawling around on their belly, bro. And you posted, and people entertaining this stuff. These people out here crawling around on their belly. And people entertaining this stuff, bro. No standard of living, dog. I'm not perfect. I've done wrong things in my life. Dog, I ain't never crawled around on my belly, bro. Ever. And ain't gonna do it. I'll go throw boxes in a warehouse before I do that, dog. You ain't never gonna see me do that on this, and I ain't gonna never crawl around on my belly, bro. Some kids get allegedly sexually assaulted, and that's how we gonna get our bread off that situation. These people crawling around on their belly, right? For real, that's really that's how this they standard of living as adults in America, right? We not in the Dominican Republic, we not in Haiti. We not in Africa somewhere. We not in Eastern Europe. We in America. These people standard of living. You see why I won't have nothing to do with them. Don't even want to listen to them. Can't function with them. Can't program with them. Nothing, bro. Some children get allegedly sexually assaulted, and that's how we gonna make our money off that story. These people are terrible people, bro. Let me go ahead and read these comments. So real quick, man. Angelo Joseph, man, what's up with it, man? Appreciate the $4.99, man. What's up with it? Terrence L, man, $9.99. Appreciate it. Girls and Pearls, man, appreciate the $5. Ray Gun, man, what's up? Big up to East Atlanta, man. Appreciate the $2. Farida James, man, appreciate the $20 super sticker. Alea J, man, appreciate the $3. And Benji, man, appreciate the $10, right? Everybody that supported the channel financially, appreciate it. I knew this one gonna blaze the super chat up. You don't know why? Because they don't like them people I'm talking about. That's their people. I knew that wasn't gonna get this thing blazing. I knew it wasn't gonna get blazing, bro. And it ain't about it that. I'm just saying I knew what the response was gonna be because why? I'm talking about their people and what they doing because they believe in these lies these folks telling them. Right? Say anybody want to come through, come on through. But I appreciate everybody, anybody that liked the video, whatever you gave, I ain't tripping. Appreciate it. It ain't about the money, bro. I don't get paid off YouTube, and my YouTube don't make me $10,000 a year. So I ain't got to be a slave to it. I get on here and talk about what I want to talk about. Only thing I'm worried about is the channel getting taken down. But I get on here and say anything I want to talk about. Why the YouTube don't make me money like that? It don't. And that's a blessing. So I ain't got to cater my word. I done seen people, especially if you got a women audience. If you a man with a woman audience, you got to tiptoe around so much stuff just to keep them women to keep coming back. Yeah, I ain't gonna live my life like that. Y'all can have it. Certain money ain't for me to make. Lord done showed me that. Certain money not for me to make, bro. Because I'm not doing that. I ain't tiptoeing around certain stuff, and I got to make sure I ain't doing all that. Y'all can have it, bro. Right?